So months ago, my dad spoke at a Men in Mission thing right here in Ashland. A bunch of men from the community, as well as a beautiful female by the name of Jocelyn Osborne. She went. And my dad spoke, and I was so nervous. I was like, what's Dad going to say? And I was taping it, and I was getting teary because Dad told about a time in a season where God made such an impact on him that I believe it's changed him forever. So this morning, I'd like you to give a round of applause to God for my dad. I can't wait to hear, Dad, what you got to say. You stand in the middle, Dad, so I'm taping it.
Yes, I will. I had some notes. Forget them. I couldn't remember them anyway. Here's what's up. It's Father's Day. We've all had a father. I had a father. He was a big man like me. He grew up in Gretna. Couldn't have been 350 people in that whole town. Grew up poor. By his third birthday, his mother had died. By his fifth birthday, his stepmom had died. So he basically had a father that worked on Highway 6, and he kind of did his own thing. Didn't go to church, wasn't even part of his life. By the age 17, Howard decided World War II broke out, it'd be a good idea to go to the Navy. So at age 17, he was in the Navy. Spent 4 years there. Did some stuff in the Navy. He didn't talk about it a whole lot. Met a lady here in Ashland named Cozy, my mom. Wonderful lady. They started a farm north of town. They really didn't go to church. My brother and I, Dave and I, we didn't go to church much either. Might go to Sunday school, drop us off, but that wasn't just part of our life. They would do anything for anybody, but church going wasn't quite it. I was 1, my brother was 3, Cozy had us on the front porch. My dad pulled up on the railroad tracks, train hit him. Carried him a quarter of a mile south. And the reason I started something different, you're not done until God says you're done. Here's a man that went through 4 years of war, got hit by a train, didn't go to church, but I'm thinking God was not done with this man. Amen. Things proceeded. I got married. This is where things turned for me. I married this beautiful lady. She went to church a lot. I was kind of one of those guys. I would go to church if I wasn't playing softball. I'd go to church if I didn't have something else to do. That lasted a few years, but when we moved to Ashland in '84, I started to go regular. And you know where I sat, just like you people in these pews, I had many, many, many ministers say, have you accepted Jesus Christ into your heart? And I'd hear that, and I thought, maybe I have, maybe I haven't. Well, if that's your answer, you haven't. One time, this guy named Dave Fowler asked that same question. And that day, in that pew in the Methodist church, I decided I accepted Jesus Christ into my heart. It's that simple. But back to my dad a little bit, we still didn't know where Dad was. He's getting older, still not going to church. Does he believe? Does he not believe? Where are you at? Patty posed the question to a big guy named John Uten right here in Ashland. And John would come see my dad, and John would talk to Dad for a while, and then John would go, Howard, what do you think about what we're talking about? And Dad said, John, let's skip the prayer today. We don't need that prayer. And John said, no, we're not skipping any prayer. We're gonna pray. And Patty talked to John and said, we don't know where his faith is at. One day, Patty went to see my dad, and Dad says, Patty, I did something today. And Patty said, well, what do you do, Howard? What do you do, Dad? He said, I accepted Jesus Christ into my heart. And Patty was dumbfounded. You know, she just couldn't believe it. I wasn't even there. And Dad looked at Patty and said, well, that's a good thing, isn't it? And Patty said, yeah, that's a real good thing, Howard. But I guess what I'm telling everybody here, y'all have fathers. They're all in different areas of life. But I believe until you accept Jesus into your heart, talk to him, pray for him, and you're not done until God says you're done. And I love you, Dad. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, Dad. Love you, buddy.